Welcome back. We're taking you on a 6-night adventure through Germany, exploring Christmas markets along the Rhine, on board one of the best river cruise lines in Europe. Join us as we bring our entire river cruise adventure series together and show you what it's like to take this journey. We're sailing on Riverside Debussy, a stunning ship from a relative newcomer to the river cruise scene. But this level of luxury doesn't come cheap. The total cost for this cruise was over $11,000. We're going to show you exactly what that kind of money gets you. From exploring magical, twinkling Christmas markets to the white glove service of our own private butler, we're bringing you along. Is this the best river cruise experience on the water today? And is it worth the cost? Stick around and find out. Plus, we'll share some Christmas market tips if you're planning your own trip this winter. Let's get started. Welcome to Frankfurt, our embarkation port. In this video, we're going to take you through our 6-night, 7-day river cruise visiting markets in 8 cities across Germany. We arrived in Germany the day before the cruise. When traveling several time zones, we like to give ourselves a day to acclimate.
The day of our cruise, we were picked up from our hotel around noon, and within minutes we were pulling up to the mooring location. Local transfers are included on all fares. You can immediately tell this is a high level of service, as our bags were whisked away by the crew while we were escorted down to the ship. Our first glimpse of Debussy was impressive. This modern ship features large panoramic windows and a distinctive dome lounge. As we stepped on board, we were greeted with a hot towel and a glass of champagne. Check-in is done in small groups in the Palm Court Lounge. This was a simple process where they took our photos and checked our passports. A few short minutes later, our cabin was ready. So let's go check it out. The initial impressions were great. The boat was tastefully decorated for Christmas, and this theme permeated everything from the decor to specialty drinks and music on board. Upon reaching our cabin, we were introduced to our butler and suite attendant. Each gave us an overview of their role, what to expect on board, and how the features of the room worked. Both were very friendly, and we saw them every day of the cruise. The service was always attentive, personalized, and friendly.
Welcome to our Seahorse suite, cabin 209 on deck 2. This suite is 253 square feet and our home for the next 6 nights. One of the coolest features of this room is the gigantic floor-to-ceiling window. This balcony window drops the top half down, which really opens up the cabin. Even though it was December, we opened it a few times to get some fresh air and enjoy the scenery. There's even an insect screen, which is a great feature. We'll definitely have to come back for a warmer weather cruise. Speaking of which, we've already planned another cruise, so this is a good time to like and subscribe so you don't miss that content. When docking, the boat alternated which side was facing the water during our trip, depending on the port. Facing the shore does limit your view and your privacy. Since the boat would change sides, there was no best side to be on during this trip. One of the nicest features of this room is the king-size bed. Many river cruise ships do not have full king-size beds. Also, these cabins have the bed facing the windows, offering amazing views. The bed can be set up as 2 twins upon request. It was comfortable and the linens were nice. The butler can swap out the pillows if you want something firmer or softer. We both slept great on board. There's a desk which includes the coffee and tea station, water, and the minibar. The minibar is either chargeable or included with the premium all-inclusive package. Our butler asked us for any preferences when we first met, and he was happy to adjust what was available. He made sure we had plenty of coffee. The waters were refreshed with each service twice daily. Each night at Turndown, the daily itinerary was set out. It included all the next day's activities and a map of our mooring location. The Quiet Box units were here as well for use on excursions. There's an armchair and an end table which can be transformed into a dining table. On boarding, there was a welcome plate of chocolates and a bottle of sparkling wine. Nightly, it was set out with a small treat at Turndown. The television is wall-mounted and on an arm which can swing out. The TV has a large collection of on-demand media with a mix of older movies and current releases. There was also live TV. There are apps on the TV as well with information about the amenities on board, a quick way to check your balance, the itinerary, or a quick QR code to join the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is complimentary for all guests and is powered by Starlink. The speeds were good and it worked pretty consistently. Just inside the cabin door, you'll find a control panel with toggles to indicate if you want your room serviced or to turn on the Do Not Disturb. We love these types of controls. Each cabin has individual heating and cooling, and it worked well during our cruise. There are plenty of outlets. There is one US-style outlet at the desk, along with 2 USB-A ports and a couple of European outlets. Each nightstand also had a European outlet and 2 additional USB-A ports. Our room featured a large walk-in closet with a full-size door. There are shelves, drawers, and plenty of hangers. There's a small shelf unit with a safe, and it was deep enough to hold a small bag like a backpack. There's also storage under the bed for larger suitcases, which helped keep everything tidy. We felt like this was plenty of space for the 2 of us for a 6-night trip. One last highlight, the bathroom. The bright and modern space features a double vanity which has a nice double-level counter and 4 drawers which help keep the space organized. It was larger than it seemed and was well thought out for its size. The spacious walk-in shower at the end has both a rain head and a hand shower. The bathroom was stocked with luxury bath products. The shower had great pressure and ample hot water, plus a glass sliding door.
What did you think of the cabin?
I thought the cabin was great. Cruise ship cabins aren't the largest, but this one was a pretty good size. I want to say it was about 250 square feet, but it had plenty of space to spread out. The bed was comfortable. There was room to walk around. We had room for all of our stuff. We had no complaints about the room. I think it was great and great place to spend a few days. But there's more to a cruise than where you'll sleep. We're in port until 10 p.m., so let's head out into Frankfurt.
Riverside allows you to book your trip with or without the excursions. Since this is a Christmas cruise and the markets are the main attraction, we opted to explore on our own most days and did not include the excursions in our package. We like the flexibility and freedom, but we'll point out the excursions as we go. There was one excursion on our first day, a walk down the riverfront to the Central Christmas Market in Frankfurt in the late afternoon. The main market is held on the Rhine. The centerpiece is a 100-foot Christmas tree. In addition to the main market, there are several other smaller markets that are connected together by very easy to follow walking paths, lined with smaller booths. These weave through Frankfurt's main shopping area and end in the Ross Market. Most booths outside the main squares focus on food and drink, which is what we're here for.
I am eating a Kartoffelpuffer.
What's it like?
A Kartoffelpuffer is like a latke, but it is a potato cake deep fried with onions in it. It's delicious and nice and warm.
Yeah, you'll see these everywhere. They're at all the markets we've been to so far, and they're pretty good.
I have no idea what these are called. They are mushrooms, and they are delicious. This is the garlic sauce. All right, these are korkballens, or something like that. Oh, yeah, well, it's like a somewhere between a cake and a raised donut with a filling. It's deep fried.
So this is glue wine at one of Christmas Frankfurt. We're in Frankfurt. I had to remember where we were for a second. It even says it on the mug. It's mulled wine. This one's not sweet. It tastes kind of like this is a red wine. It kind of tastes like a standard table wine that's got a little bit of mulling spices in it. So think of kind of holiday baking spices. The mugs, you pay a deposit on them. If you want to keep it, you don't get your deposit back. But if you want your deposit back, you return it to the stand you bought it from, and they'll give you your money back for the mug. You still have to pay for the glue wine.
The Romberg in St. Paul Square is where you'll find most of the shops in large double-level carousel. At night, this main market comes alive and is a spectacle of lights and crowds.
So we're wrapping up our first Christmas market here in Frankfurt. What do you think?
I like that the Frankfurt markets are all interconnected so that you can easily walk between them, and they're very different depending on which section you're in.
We were out earlier in the day, and parts of the markets, like this one, were fairly busy, but now they're really busy.
As a first market, this was interesting, a learning experience.
On to the next one.
On to the next one.
Frankfurt's markets are centrally located and easy to get to from public transit. After exploring the markets, we headed back to the boat for our first dinner on board. But before that, we need to attend our muster drill in the Palm Court Lounge, with a cocktail, of course. Now with that out of the way, let's get some dinner. The main restaurant is an elegant space that spans the width of the ship and has large floor-to-ceiling windows on both sides. There is a service station in the middle which provides a nice separation from the other tables. It makes the space feel more intimate than a large dining hall you might find on other ships. With Riverside, there are no assigned dining times. You can show up anytime during the window for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and get a table. There are a variety of types of tables with seating for 2, 4, and 6. For larger groups, the staff can move tables together. It was nice to have the option to sit with a group or sit as a couple.
Dinner on board is a multi-course menu that changes nightly. There are also some staples available every day. Each night had a choice of starters, soups, mains, and desserts. There's an option to add a pasta and a cheese course as well. Riverside is flexible, allowing you to choose how many courses you want, and they can even adjust the portion sizes upon request. The onboard sommelier also picks a red and white wine each evening that represent the region you're sailing, but there's a more extensive wine list if you'd like to pick something different. We'll talk more about what's included on board just a bit. If you really want to splurge, they also have a large selection of high-end wines for purchase. Simply put, the food was amazing. Every meal was unique and delicious. All of the food was well prepared, and they frequently included high-quality ingredients like caviar and foie gras. The plating was outstanding. We also really appreciated the portion sizes, which were generous but spaced out and sized in a way that you could easily enjoy 4 courses and not be stuffed at the end. Oh, and the bread service was unique each evening with a made-on-board flavored butter and fresh baked bread. The food and service were one of the highlights of this trip, and not just at dinner. Every meal on board was excellent. We treated the ship like our home base, and as you'll see, we went to shore at each port, but we always came back for mealtime. We headed back to our room for the first night. The boat departed at 10 p.m. and was underway all night. Aside from a few bumps in the locks, it was very smooth and barely noticeable. The ship is also very quiet, and we didn't hear any noise from the engines.
We woke up for our first full day on board in the new city, Mainz. We're here early today, before the Christmas markets open, so the excursions are a trip to a nearby winery and a walking tour with a visit to the Gutenberg Museum. We stopped at Mainz at the end of this cruise, and we did the Gutenberg Museum excursion the second time around. So if you want to see how that went, stick around. But first things first, it's time for breakfast, which is back in the main restaurant. Every morning, the breakfast buffet has a large selection of dishes and a made-to-order egg station right in the center. Meal times vary according to the schedule for that day and are included on the daily activity sheet placed in your room. The selection was similar each day, with plenty of choices depending on your mood. There's an a la carte menu as well, with items such as avocado toast and eggs Benedict. With breakfast done, let's venture out. It's a chilly morning, but we were eager to get out and explore this new city. Since we'll be back in a few days, we used our time to scout out the market a little bit and explore the town on foot. Mainz sits at the confluence of the Rhine and Main rivers and started as a Roman settlement thousands of years ago. When here, keep an eye out for Det, a cartoon gnome from Germany's public broadcaster. He's on several pedestrian crossings. The ship departed port just before noon, so we head back on board for a leisurely afternoon underway. But first, it's time for lunch.
Lunch follows a similar format to breakfast, with a large selection of buffet items and a made-to-order station. Each day had a new selection of charcuterie, small bites, salads, fresh breads, and a soup of the day. One of the nice things about the selection was that you could eat healthy or indulge. And speaking of indulging, the pastry team on the ship is amazing. All of the desserts were fantastic, plus they change daily. For a ship with a max of 110 passengers, it was incredible how much variety the menu offered. Everything set out on the buffets was well labeled and marked for allergies if there are things you want to avoid. Just around noon, we set sail north for our next stop, Bonn. Well underway, many passengers descended on the Palm Court Lounge where the crew had a Rüdesheimer coffee demonstration. This is a local coffee and brandy drink. It's rich, but not too sweet, and it's topped with whipped cream and chocolate. The journey to Bonn takes several hours, so now's a great time to explore the rest of the ship.
Debussy is 135 meters long and 12 meters wide and was built in 2018. There are 4 decks including the rooftop. Guest cabins are all located on decks 2 and 3, with 55 rooms on board for a total passenger maximum of 110. That's lower than most European river cruise boats. All of the rooms are above the waterline and feature floor-to-ceiling windows. Cabins come in 3 main classes: the Symphony and Melody Suites, which are 188 square feet, the Riverside and Seahorse Suites, which are 253 square feet, and the Debussy Suite, which is 506 square feet. You can also book the Owner's Suite, which combines a Debussy Suite with the adjoining Riverside Suite. We have full tours of all rooms in our cabin tour video if you'd like to see more. We'll put a link in the description. If you're thinking about booking a cruise with Riverside, they offer 4 packages. All rooms include full board, and there's an option to upgrade to a premium all-inclusive. Both boarding packages can be packaged with all excursions, or you can a la carte the excursions if you want to customize your itinerary. We booked the premium all-inclusive without the excursions. There are 80 crew on board, with a crew to passenger ratio of about 2 to 3, well above industry standard. This made for an incredible cruise and personalized service. We heard from fellow passengers who were experienced river cruisers that this was the best service they've seen on a river cruise. 2 details you might find helpful. The currency on board is the euro, and English is the primary language. Boarding can be done from decks 2, 3, or 4, depending on the port. The main reception lobby is on deck 2, and we'll start our tour here. The lobby features a spiral staircase wrapping around a glass elevator. Here, you'll find the concierge and guest experience team. Someone is here 24/7 to help with excursions and answer any questions you may have. The team were always friendly and greeted us by name anytime we came through. Across from the reception area is the pantry. This space has a self-service espresso machine, tea, and boxes of water available 24/7, along with some fresh fruit and cookies. There are umbrellas set out at each exit door just in case you need one, and there are information screens here which have port information at each stop. You can also request walking sticks or a bicycle for use while in port at the reception. These are available at no extra charge. Heading towards aft or rear of the boat, you'll find the Seahorse deck, cabins 200 through 229. Heading upstairs to deck 3 from reception, you'll enter the second dining venue, which has an espresso bar, gelato, and waffles throughout the day. This is also the flexible dining space, with food available most of the day. There's a small buffet that is set out when breakfast closes downstairs, and you can order made-to-order items as well. It was nice to walk through this area and just pick up something to nibble on. Again, the pastry team was amazing. To one side of the bistro, you'll find a subtle door leading to the vintage room. This is a supplemental option for dinner and seats up to 10. This is a multi-course tasting menu with wine pairings and is €295 per person. Moving forward, you'll find the library, which leads into the Palm Court Lounge. The library had board games, cards, and books, and the popcorn maker, which the crew had running for cocktail hour each night. Next up is the Palm Court Lounge. This is a stunning space, with floor-to-ceiling windows which merge into a geometric grid of skylights. This space is modern and bright, with comfortable seating, and featured the primary bar on board. We spent a lot of time in this lounge in the evenings and while underway. The bar was warmly lit and spacious, and the drinks were excellent. A special cocktail of the day was available, and since this was a Christmas cruise, they also had some seasonal drinks like glühwein and eggnog. There was a list of craft cocktails, and they were happy to make anything you'd like. If you booked the premium all-inclusive package, most alcohol is included. There were also a selection of wines to suit your taste. When you hear all-inclusive alcohol, we always wonder what brands that actually includes. Obviously, there are some high-end wines and spirits that will cost you extra. But here's an example of what's included. There are also more premium spirits available at an additional cost, which included Johnny Walker Blue for €32 and Glenfarclas 25 years at €47, just to give some examples. For wines, there was a mix of reds and whites from all of the major wine-growing regions. For example, the Cabernet from California was the Robert Mondavi Napa Valley. Included champagne on board was Tatige. The Palm Court Lounge also serves as the main gathering space for presentations, port talks, and evening entertainment. Nightly at 6:45, the cruise director has a brief presentation about the next day's activities and they answered any questions. The crew would also go around and confirm your excursions individually. On days where we had extended periods underway, like today, the crew arranged onboard activities in the Palm Court. I know we've said it before, but the crew were fantastic, friendly, and they wanted to ensure everyone had a great time on board. Like Deck 2, the area behind the lobby has more cabins, the Symphony, Riverside, and Owner Suites, cabins 300 to 327. And at the aft of the ship is the indoor swimming pool. The pool area is enclosed with floor-to-ceiling windows facing out the back and a large glass atrium above. The pool is small, but features a resistance training system if you want to swim laps. There is a public restroom and lockers along with water and even more fresh cookies. A pair of loungers are set out by an electric fireplace. This was a nice quiet area to sit and relax, and we never saw this area busy. From the pool area, you can exit out to the back to a small terrace setup with chairs and tables. This was the smoking area. It makes sense having this at the rear. We'll continue our tour another day, but now it's time for another fantastic dinner.
This is one of the best parts about a cruise, waking up and finding yourself in a new city. And today we've got two of them, Bonn in the morning and Cologne this evening. There are two excursions available in Bonn, a walking tour of the Christmas market and a coach tour. Again, we opted to explore Bonn on our own. Bonn is the former capital of West Germany and is famous as the birthplace of Ludwig van Beethoven. The charming collection of Christmas markets each have their own unique vibe and are clustered in the various squares. The main market is held at the Münsterplatz in front of the Bonn Cathedral, which looms over the market. It is an impressive building dating back to the 12th century. The stalls in the main market have the usual treats and shops, and it's relatively compact. There are additional markets branching off, including one that focuses on handmade crafts. These are all relatively close together, and it's easy to walk between them. We visited in the morning, right as it opened, and the market was busy, but not very crowded.
Bonn it's very nice. It feels more like a small German city than Frankfurt did. I do like the backdrop of the church, and obviously we're here during the day, so it's not as busy as Frankfurt was at night, but
It's nice that it's not as busy. Frankfurt was a little crazy at nighttime, but, we'll see how Cologne is later tonight.
yes, we're off to Cologne next.
And there are portions here that are kind of down the little alleys and off to the side, but they're all pretty close, and there's a little more space for each one.
Yeah.
And the layout is very easy to navigate.
Yeah, so Bonn is very walkable. There's a couple of markets that all kind of interconnect with each other. Definitely spend some time to kind of do a loop before you make decisions on what you want to actually buy so you can kind of see everything. Part of the market had a lot more like arts and crafts and like handmade things, and then part of the market seems a lot more like what you would find in some of the other markets. So definitely spend some time to look around and then decide kind of what you want to do.
It's also very close to the train station.
It is very close to the train
The
station.
bus depot.
Yes.
So we came by the river, but the cathedral and the main market plots are very close to the train station here.
What do you think of this glue wine compared to Frankfurt? We're going to compare them all.
I think it's good. It is not sweet, which is what I kind of expected glue wine to be, but it's nice to have the warm drink. It could be more spiced.
Yeah, more spice. I think just a little more spice I think would be better, but not bad. What do you think of the mug in this in Bonn?
It's cute. It's time to hop back on board for lunch and an afternoon underway as we sail north to our evening stop, Cologne. While we have some time underway, let's go check out Deck 1.
Deck 1 is accessible from the spiral staircase in the lobby and is home to the small but well-equipped fitness center, guest laundry area, and spa treatment room. The fitness center included techno gym equipment. There's a rowing machine and 2 types of exercise bikes for cardio. A collection of free weights and a weight bench and yoga mats are here as well. And while tight, there was plenty of space for 2 people to be in here together. The ceiling height would be an issue for a treadmill, so it makes sense they didn't squeeze one in. There are small lockers if you need them, and a fridge with chilled towels and water. The onboard spa offers massages and facials, and we both took advantage of the spa while underway today, and it was fantastic. The last space here is the guest laundry room. This well-appointed space includes a laundry sink, a space to fold clothes, a steamer, an ironing board, a TV, and 2 pairs of washers and dryers. They also provided dryer sheets and laundry pods, which was a nice touch. This space is free for guests to use, but the ship does also offer laundry service for a fee.
We pulled into Cologne just as the sun was setting. Cologne has some of the most visited markets in all of Germany, and you'll see why shortly. There's a single walking tour to the market organized by the boat, but we had an ambitious plan to get to at least 3 markets, so we set off as soon as the boat had moored.
Merry Christmas and welcome to Cologne.
The main market is held at the Roncaliplatz in front of the massive Cologne Cathedral. The centerpiece is a huge Christmas tree with a canopy of white lights spread out over the center. The sea of red roof tents are adorned with thousands of lights. The markets here were very busy early in the evening on a Thursday, and during the peak of the evening it was hard to move around, particularly at the fairy tale market.
This is a spiral kartoffel, a spiral cut potato battered and deep fried and covered in barbecue salt. It's like a bunch of potato chips.
Overall, each market had a wide variety of stalls, and each had a very distinct vibe. The stunning light canopy in front of the cathedral, the rustic woodsy feel of the fairy tale market, and the angel market with its clean, white stalls and star-shaped lights with blue uplighting above. They were all very pretty and well-themed.
We're in Cologne, and this is going to be our sampling of the blue wine here in Cologne. This is the main market by the cathedral. It's a little busy, so let's see how this is. Not bad. I actually think I like this one better than the one we had in Bonn. Similar to the one we had in Frankfurt. I mean, at the end of the day, they're all hot mulled wine, so it's good. I like this mug, though.
The crowds were a bit much, and while beautiful, we enjoyed the markets where there was a little more space to spread out.
Well, Ryan, how do you like this Christmas market?
I think I'm crowded out. I think that's my only impression. It's beautiful.
All of the Cologne markets have been very pretty, very busy. It's Thursday. We got here at like 4:35, and it was already very busy. Lots of options, lots of booths.
So it's very easy to walk between me and the markets, which is nice, and lots of options. Just be prepared for lots of crowds.
We braved the crowds as long as we could before heading back to the boat for a quiet dinner on board.
Each night there's entertainment in the Palm Court Lounge. Sometimes it's the onboard musician, and sometimes it's local performers who come on board. These vary, but there's activity going on up until about midnight if you're into it. But for us, it's time to call it a night. Overnight, the ship sailed to Düsseldorf, our halfway point and our longest stop. We took in the new views during another relaxing breakfast, and then we set out to explore a bit. We're here all day, and there are 3 excursions available on board. 2 in the morning with a more historical focus on sites like the Ship Museum, and then in the afternoon a Christmas market and food tour. The excursions generally involved a lot of walking, and this wasn't clearly laid out ahead of time. We enjoy walking around Europe, but if you have mobility concerns, keep in mind most of these excursions included quite a bit of time on your feet. We headed out for a morning walk through town before heading over to the Modern Art Museum. It was nice to get out and do something away from the Christmas markets for a bit, and the weather was great. One nice benefit of river cruises is that they typically stop in the center of many cities, so you're usually pretty close to a lot of things to do and see. We made our way back to the boat for lunch and to rest for an afternoon back in the markets. This cruise route is not a fixed loop, and Riverside allows you to book a cruise as short as 3 nights. Düsseldorf is an embarkation point, and several guests left while new guests came on board.
So this was our first river cruise, and one of the things we heard is river cruises are a great way to meet new people. And look at who we met. Hey!
In the afternoon, we headed back out to check out the Christmas markets. This large modern city has multiple markets, and they're all connected into a Christmas path through the center of town. A short walk up the river shore, and you'll find the Bergplatz, with its impressive Ferris wheel and a French-themed Christmas village.
We are at the Düsseldorf Bergplatz, which is the one with the Ferris wheel. Turn the cup to show the Ferris wheel.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
There you go. Let's see the hood. Okay, so this is market number 4.
Frankfurt, Bonn, Cologne. 4.
Yes.
Number 4, halfway through the trip.
Halfway, midpoint. I think this one's similar to the one we had in Cologne.
Bonn.
In Bonn?
I'd say it's there's not a lot of spice in this one.
No, not a ton of spice.
Maybe a touch sweeter.
This was the most expensive blue wine we've had. This one was...
The deposit was €5. They have been €4 so far. I think most of the blue wines have been $4.50, and this one was $5. So, I mean, the blue wine's about the same, but the mug deposit. But this is one of the more adorable mugs we've seen.
You'll also see we're sitting inside of like a little hut. A lot of the stands will have these tables and huts, and when it's not too busy like it is right now, you can find a place to sit down, which is nice.
Adjacent to this area is the Roncalli, a tree-lined promenade that extends along the waterfront. It has a mix of shops, food vendors, and even some larger enclosed venues. The Old Town Market is next, although we found this one to be a bit crowded and small. So we headed inland down the Flingerstrasse to the other markets near the Shadowplatz.
What have you thought about Dusseldorf's market so far?
They have been nice. A little less busy, but it is earlier in the day. And I think as we've learned, earlier in the day, it's a little more relaxed feeling. A little less crowded.
Yes, it's definitely less crowded. This is our second blue vine of Düsseldorf. Yeah, this is a lot less busy than Cologne, but it is still early in the day. But it is a Friday.
Just after sunset, we headed back to the boat for the evening.
Okay. All right, and what did you think of Düsseldorf?
So I like Düsseldorf. I like the fact that there are a variety of markets, so different styles of markets. So if you want kind of the more old traditional style market or the newer one that tends to have like slightly younger crowd, and you can walk between them. And they're not as busy as Cologne. Obviously, it's not completely dark yet, but there's enough elbow room. You can kind of move around and find different things.
Yes, they're very spaced out.
But no, this is Düsseldorf is nice. Plus, if you want to do some shopping, this is a great shopping area where a lot of these markets are located. So everything from like your big high-end stores to some big box stores, all of that stuff is here as well.
We set off just as we were enjoying dinner for an overnight trip to our next stop, Koblenz.
This morning we woke with the ship still underway to our first stop, Koblenz. Koblenz is the former Roman outpost where the Moselle River meets the Rhine, and the name comes from Latin for the word confluence. Our ship docked right in the heart of the picturesque Old Town area. This stop featured 2 excursions, one to Marksburg Castle, a 20-minute coach ride away, and the other was a walking tour to the Christmas markets. We took the long walk around and started at the point where the Rhine and the Moselle meet. Here's a monument to Kaiser Wilhelm, destroyed during World War II and reconstructed in the 90s. Just past here is a cable car which takes you across the Rhine to the cliffside fortress.
Welcome to Koblenz.
The main market is held at the Amplan Square, adjacent to the Church of Our Lady. We were here during the morning, and the markets were busy but not too crowded. The various squares and markets are close to each other, and we were able to visit all of them, even though we only had about an hour and a half.
Welcome to Koblenz. This is our first Glühwein here. We're in the main market square. It's early in the day, probably about 11:30 in the morning, so it's pretty quiet, which is nice. It's nice to be able to move around and see everything and not be pushing through a crowd. The Glühwein is good. This one is doesn't have that kind of alcohol burn some of them have had. This one's got a little more spice to it. It's probably got a little bit more sugar.
So we're wrapping up here in Koblenz. What did you think?
It's cute. I liked it. Smaller, more kind of intimate, small town feel. I don't know what it's like in the evening because it's just before lunchtime here. It's bustling, but not overcrowded. Kind of like what we've seen in most of the markets at this time of day.
And we're leaving here before it gets to nighttime. So I'm sure at night it gets a little bit busier. But it's a cute town. And if you aren't here in the winter, I'm sure it would be nice to be a spot to come and visit in the summer as well. But yeah,
the gondola and the fortress across the river look kind of cool.
Our time in Koblenz was short, so we headed back on board just in time for lunch. We set off once again. Our next stop is somewhat special, the enchanting town of Rüdesheim. This afternoon we'll be passing a string of castles along the way. So let's head up to deck 4 to enjoy the view and show you around. The Vista deck is an expansive rooftop with plenty of sun loungers, comfy seating, tables under shade canopies, and the Vista Bar, which was open when the weather permitted. Most nights we found our way back to the boat looking for the large TV. It was the only ship with one, and it made it easy to spot. We were told in warmer weather they break out the grills for lunch. The canopies and bar can retract to allow the ship to pass under low bridges, and there were distance markers on the deck if you wanted to run laps up here. While the weather in December was chilly, there were some milder days and people did make use of the bar and Vista deck. This area was also fantastic to go spotting the castles as we navigated through the Rhine Valley. The cruise made good use of the daytime travel to highlight sites along the Rhine. We were provided a booklet with photos that contained information on each of the castles we'd pass. They'd also call out over the speakers in the lounge as we got near specific ones so you wouldn't miss them.
So we're heading upstream on the Rhine. We've been on Debussy, 4 days now?
It's our fourth night.
Fourth night. So what do you think?
I think the boat's great. I was not sure what to expect since it's our first river cruise. It's definitely set the bar high, though.
It has. Like, the staff have been amazing. From the second the car picked us up and dropped us off at the dock, we have not touched our bags. We've had the butler service has been fantastic.
Yes.
He's been very responsive. The food on the boat is excellent. Like, it's like going to a fancy dinner every single night. The multi-course meals
Every
have been
night?
good.
No, it's been wonderful.
So a couple of things to kind of keep in mind if you are thinking of doing a river cruise. It is a slower pace of exploring. So, today we've been on the river for several hours. We won't get to our next port until about 7:30 this evening. So come with a good book, or you're just going to sit and relax, work on your computer, whatever you want to do, but just know that it's kind of a slower pace.
Yeah. No, it's been enjoyable. I like this and I'd like to do it again.
As the sun set, we headed inside for an early dinner before our stop in Rüdesheim.
This is where the aggressive schedule of a river cruise can become a negative. We had a bit of a delayed docking, so we ended up with only about 40 minutes to explore before the market closed. But we made the most of our time and sprinted off the boat as soon as we could to this enchanting small town.
Welcome to Rüdesheim.
Rüdesheim began as a Celtic settlement and remains a picturesque example of a small German village. It's also in German wine country.
It's a wine crate's Christmas tree. So this is a very cute little town with a main market square, and then the rest of the market's kind of wind around it. You've got a Glühwein. This is a requirement. This one's pretty good. It's got a little more spice than some of the other ones we've had. And it looks like a little copper cauldron, so that's kind of fun. And it's green, which Ryan likes.
The center of the market is held at the central square, and the booths extend along the streets. It's very walkable, but a bit hilly. The main square was busy, but for a Saturday night, the crowds were more manageable than we'd seen in Cologne. There were also themed booths for various countries.
Are you having a good time?
I'm having a great time. Not as good of a time as them. It feels the most authentically German, even with the tourist shops here and there. But they're having a much better time, I think.
Maybe have had a little bit of Glühwein.
Yes.
It was back to the boat for our overnight journey to our next city, Mannheim.
Where are we, Ryan?
Mannheim. Welcome to Mannheim.
We got an early start as soon as we finished breakfast. The mooring spot for river cruises is a bit of a walk, about 1.5 miles. There were 2 excursions available today, a trip to the Schwetzwein Palace or a walk to the Christmas markets. The walk through town was mostly down a pedestrian-friendly avenue with shops and restaurants. But it was a Sunday and most everything was closed, but not the market.
We're nearing the end of our Christmas market cruise, and we've been to quite a few markets now, so what do you think? Lessons learned?
I've enjoyed the Christmas markets, but I find them a little more kind of quieter and enjoyable earlier in the day, like mid to late afternoon. The evenings are fun and definitely worth doing once or twice, but like Cologne was extremely crowded. And for me, that's just a little too much action and activity, and I like a little more relaxed pace and being able to spread out a little bit more. But what about you?
I completely agree. I have enjoyed the daytime where you're able to kind of like walk around and actually see everything and find a spot to stop and enjoy your Glühwein and things like that. At night, obviously, they're lit up and they look pretty. Tips: check each market in every city you're going to go to, look at their website and find out what hours they're going to be open, because they're not all open the same hours, and in some cities, they're not open on certain days of the week. Other tips?
Well, check the website in German first, and then use like an auto-translate feature, because the German websites are more reliable than the English ones, which sometimes don't get updated as frequently.
And don't rely on third-party websites. And if you are doing a curated Christmas cruise like what we're doing, most of the riverboat companies are going to tell you, or they're going to have excursions that go to the markets, and they'll take you to the markets when they're open, but not always. So make sure you always ask, hey, is the market going to be open while we're there? One other observation I've had, maybe you've noticed this as well, is you will see a lot of the same types of stalls from city to city. So if you don't have time to do a week-long cruise or jaunt across Europe and feel like I don't want to miss out if I only go to 1 or 2 cities, that's fine. Enjoy the city that you're in. You don't have to go to all of them.
There's a little bit of variation here or there. Rüdesheim was probably the most different in just that it had that kind of old medieval town feel to it. Cologne was very, it was beautiful, but very like modern.
Very large city.
Well lit, well designed, well thought out. Mannheim has a very neat like central focal point, which is the Wasserturm, the water tower. So they each have a unique thing, but the things you'll find there are going to be somewhat similar. So.
And if you are going to go to a city to go visit a Christmas market and you're not doing a cruise or something like that, and you're going to stay in the city, pick a city that you know is going to have other things you want to do, whether it be museums or it be restaurants or whatever else you want to do.
The main market is held at the Wasserturm. It's a nice open area with a good selection of stalls. We visited right at the opening and the market was popular with locals. But first things first, it's time to get our Glühwein.
Ooh, this one's good. I like this one. This is probably one of the better ones we've had. Good amount of spice in this one. Not super sweet, and the wine is wine's pretty good. I like this one.
This market had a nice selection of shops, and there were several new things we encountered.
It's a tower cake, but it has a funny name, like, I'm not even going to try and pronounce it, Slovenian. But it is a baked tower cake with cinnamon and sugar on it, which is exciting because all the other ones we've seen are fried. Oop, my goodness. It's kind of like almost a biscuit dough. Maybe it's brioche. I like it. It's kind of doughy, but I like doughy bread. And they grill this one over charcoal, I think. So Ryan, what did you think of the Mannheimer Christmas market?
It was nice. I like, it's not huge. It's kind of compact. It surrounds the Wasser Tower here in the city. And it was actually a pretty good mix of what seemed like some local merchants as well as some smaller stands that it seemed less commercialized. Everything felt a little bit more local here. I liked it.
Yes, it was less crowded. I mean, obviously it's Sunday morning.
Yes.
Lots of locals getting their Glühwein before their day.
Probably the best Glühwein we've had so far.
Yes,
in my opinion.
I would agree that this has been the best, surprisingly.
No, I like this market, and not super crowded right now. Obviously, in the evening it probably will get a little bit more crowded, but this wasn't bad. I like that.
So back to the boat for one last market.
This stop was a bit of a mystery. On the itinerary, it was listed as Worms/Mainz. And basically, in order to fit another excursion in, the motor coaches were here at Worms to take guests up about a half-hour drive to Mainz. The boat would sail up and meet us later in the evening. This is also where we opted to do our first excursion. Our excursion tonight is a visit to the Gutenberg Museum. This is the same excursion from day 2. Unfortunately, the weather wasn't cooperating tonight, and it was pretty rainy. We certainly appreciated having the umbrellas. Since we did not book excursions included, this was an additional 68 euros each. We've never done a cruise excursion, so we don't have much to compare this to. Now, we don't want to come across as uninterested or ungrateful. These types of trips are wonderful opportunities to learn about other cultures and their history, but this excursion was longer than it probably needed to be. To be fair, we were with a local guide, not the ship's guide. Overall, we found this to be a little lecture-y, and while informative, we were eager for it to end. If you're going to go to Mainz anytime soon, it's worth noting that the Gutenberg Museum is closed, and most of the exhibits and artifacts are in storage. There's a small temporary exhibit in the Natural History Museum, which is where we were tonight. Our tour ended with our group being dropped off at the Christmas market.
And welcome to a rainy Mainz. This is the last night of our river cruise, and we have more Glühwein. How is it?
It's good. This one was marketed as bio Glühwein, which I think is organic kind of thing. It's got some good kick, maybe cinnamon, cloves, more forward than some of the other ones. Does not taste sweet.
This market, it's busy. It's a Sunday night, but still room to walk around, and the rain hasn't kept the crowds away. So everyone's out here enjoying it. Don't choke.
It's a little spicy.
The main market is held at the Domplatz in front of the cathedral. The bright red sandstone cathedral serves as a backdrop for the little rustic wooden stalls, and at night with the uplights, it's even more dramatic. The Christmas lights in the center form a tent of light over the market. The rain didn't keep the visitors away. 2 squares around the cathedral have a good selection of shops, but due to the rain, we didn't venture too far. The Glühwein here had the least expensive deposit we've encountered, at only €1. We had taken a guided tour from the cruise, which ended at the market, and we took our guide's recommendation for his favorite stall. We headed back to the boat, a bit soggy, for our last night on board.
We've made it to our final morning on board. After one last breakfast, we spent the morning packing. Our disembarkation time was 10 a.m. Riverside includes transfers to the airport at the start and end of each cruise. So we said goodbye to the staff and loaded up on the coach for a ride to Frankfurt Airport. So that's our experience on board Riverside. Our route took us from Frankfurt to the towns of Mainz, Bonn, Cologne, Düsseldorf, Koblenz, Rüdesheim, Mannheim, Mainz again via Worms, and then back to Frankfurt. The length of each stop varied, and most days we had 2 cities to visit. We spent more time in Düsseldorf, which was an embarkation-debarkation stop. Overall, the boat stuck to the schedule fairly well, But in Rüdesheim, for example, we arrived about 45 minutes later than planned. It was such a short stop, we didn't have much more than an hour of usable port time. So be flexible with your plans, and know that you'll never get left behind if you're on one of the ship's planned excursions.
We want to share a few tips if you're planning on visiting the Christmas markets in Germany. Most of these will apply to other countries in Europe as well. Tip 1. Dress in layers and prepare for the rain, sun, or snow. While we didn't see any snow, we did see rain during our trip. The temperature also varied from freezing to mid-50s. Tip 2. Markets get busier the closest to Christmas you get. They also get busier around sundown. If you want to enjoy a lot of energy, we'd recommend visiting after dark. But if you want to have a more leisurely experience, go earlier in the day. Tip 3. Check each market in every city you're going to. Look at their website and find out which hours they're going to be open. They're not all open at the same hours, and in some cities, they're not open on certain days of the week. Tip 4. Bring euros and have a credit card ready. In many markets, cash was king, but we did run into a few, especially in Cologne, where they only took credit cards. And make sure to have a credit card that doesn't charge a foreign transaction fee. Tip 5. River cruises, regardless of which company you go with, are smaller ships, so you won't find as many entertainment options, restaurants, and amenities as you may on ocean cruise ships. And our final tip, if you want to do a river cruise, make sure you're interested in the itinerary. This was a Christmas market cruise, and most of the stops and excursions focused on the markets.
So was it worth it? Well, this was our first cruise and first experience with Riverside. We couldn't have been happier. For our 6-night, 7-day cruise in a Seahorse suite with the premium all-inclusive for 2 passengers without excursions, we paid $11,446. That fare is all-inclusive of taxes, gratuities, and port fees. It's not cheap, but we felt the luxury experience we received justified the cost. We're definitely doing this again.
In fact, we've got our next river cruise planned, and we're going to the other side of the planet this time. Now is a good time to like and subscribe if you don't want to miss any of our adventures. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. For even more content, check out our channel memberships here on YouTube and over on Patreon. This is where we share exclusive posts and videos that don't fit here on the main channel. Thank you for watching. On to the next adventure.